part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
45-50, 45-40, run, William, run! He's got blockers in front, 5, touchdown! Joshua Cribbs turns disaster into a score! Kick block! They block the kick!
The wait is over. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is officially live in Ohio. Let's go! Now you can legally bet on all your favorite sports anytime and anywhere right in Ohio with DraftKings. It's about time. For a limited time, new customers who sign up with promo code P3Browns will receive $200 in bonus bets instantly. Couple of games that's coming up, I'm looking to since the Browns aren't playing, I'm actually thinking about taking that 2.5 point spread with Tampa Bay. And I'm actually looking into taking Zay Jones for Jacksonville as an anytime score. I just like their matchup. The Chargers secondary is decimated, and I think that he's got a chance to get open and score. DraftKings has the best features, including same game parlays, player props, and more with fast and easy payouts right at your fingertips. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers can use promo code P3Browns to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place a $5 bet on anything, and I mean anything. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code P3Browns. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and older. Physically present in Ohio. Valid one offer per first-time depositors who have not already redeemed $200 in free bets via pre-launch offer. Minimum of $5 deposit and wager. $200 issued as bonus bets. Eligibility restrictions apply. See dkng.com/OH for terms.
Gambling is here. I'm excited. I'm gonna bet this weekend, Tyvis, on some wild card games.
Must be nice. Let me know what you do.
I know you can't, but
let me know.
I will.
I'm really thinking. See, the thing about Tom is you don't bet against Tom.
I never do. I know.
I like Dallas, but Dak has really been kind of scaring me lately. Now, playoffs come, yeah, he could turn it around. But we don't know what Tom is going to do at his. If this is Tom's last year, he ain't going outside. I'm just going to say that right now.
100%. No, there's no desperate. I mean, he's had a rough year, and it's time. He's turning it on like he normally does. I have a sneaky feeling. So I'm excited. It's going to be it's a fun weekend of football.
So, side note, did you see his quote unquote new girlfriend?
No. Who is it? How did I miss this?
There's some girl. You know what? I'm gonna have to send you her stuff. They've been saying that this is his new girl, and it's yeah.
What do you? Yeah, good. Oh, thumbs up. We got a thumbs up.
I applaud the man. It's a. Yeah,
I know you've already checked her out on IG, so send it over.
Now it's rumored. Now it's not confirmed. But, if it is, I respect it. As a man, I respect his taste in women.
Well, did you think Giselle was hot?
I respect his taste in women. My point exactly.
Well, he's got to be doing better than she was with the jujitsu. Why can't I say that? Instructor? Jujitsu instructor.
Yeah. They move on fast. I don't think people say that they moved on. I don't think they moved on. I think they've been split for a long time. So I think they just already had, who they was messing with,
Yeah. Or sometimes, you need a little something to get you back on the horse.
Well, hey,
so you get back on the horse.
I don't know. See, I don't know the severity of they stuff. I don't know what they was doing. See, sometimes if it's like when it's real love, it take a while to get back. It's not. So if it takes some time, then that's acceptable. But some people say to get over one, you got to get under somebody else.
That's right.
That's
what they say.
Neither one is wrong. Did you know that there is no right or wrong way to live life? that technically
Come on now.
everything is just opinionated. Did you ever know that?
Tavis, we're in 2023. You have to take a side. Come on now. You know that.
I don't judge people because everything is opinionated.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You can't sneeze the right way, you know?
Oh, here she go, right here. I'm gonna send it to you.
Oh God. What's her name?
Veronica.
Oh, that is a name. It sounds fake, honestly. Whose name is Veronica in real life?
You got your phone in your hand?
I sure do.
Okay. It's about to come.
Sorry, everybody. This is important. We're going to get through this first.
It's about to hit you like a stack of marbles. Boom!
Oh, yeah.
Why you look like
And her last, okay. She said, I saw the legend. And if somebody asked me again if I love Brady, yes, I love him. And show me someone who doesn't. Even his haters love him because they know he is the GOAT. Tom Brady, thank you for an amazing show. Oh, so this was.
Is he there his girlfriend or just, a big fan?
Well, wow, yeah, she is a big fan. People like this don't exist in real life. Like, I can't. Everybody, you can check her out. Whatever her name is, Veronica, find her. Won't be hard. Can't miss her. So good for her. Yeah. Well, welcome to the Orange is Oranger. What a start that was to our last episode.
Well, our Browns are, the season has come to an end. It was terrible fashion. Went out very sad. I kind of felt like they kind of quit in the second half. Mm-hmm. When I watch that game, and this is what it bothers me. Culture is a real thing. It's something that drives the whole team. And when times get rough, you always go back to culture and things like that. What do you stand for? And to me, when I watched them in this last game, they came out with a ton of energy. I mean, the Najee Harris fumble on the goal line was big, and it was electric. Everybody was ready to go. But when that offense stalled and nothing happened, it just seemed like, to me, they just went to that, here we go again, same old stuff. And when you fall into that pit, like it's hard to get out of. It's like, to me, they have like a loser's mentality. Like it's, instead of like somebody stepping up and saying something to correct it and energize the team, it's just like, here we go again, same old stuff. And like that's a loser's mentality. If this team wants to, I don't care how much talent is on it. Until this team gets somebody like that can change their mindset to games, like we're not going to be good, like, ever, because that's terrible. Like your last, you never know what happened. You never know what can happen after the game. Like, this could potentially be your last time in the NFL, and you treated it like, okay, whatever. And that's just, it's sad. It's really sad.
It is. I think, this season, the Browns just seem to, they seem that they couldn't get connected on anything, on any level. And losing to Pittsburgh at the end, coming up at a 7-10 season is certainly not where any of us thought they would be. And I feel like, especially with the Steelers, that is the last game. There has to be some fight shown at the very least, because it's the Steelers, right? Granted, we consider them rivals, even though we, our win-loss record against them isn't.
We 1-1 this year. What you mean?
Yeah. And look, the last couple of years, but come on, Pittsburgh has beat our ass many, many years.
They could have went where the air is rare, even in a season of ups and downs, and just turned out to be a flat-out disaster. You could have ended it on the right note. You could have done something that hasn't been done since '88, and you decided to just, And that's like, I don't get it. Maybe because I'm done playing football. And when you're done, you obviously look at the game differently, because you're much more passionate about it, especially when you're a guy that, you feel like you could still play, and like you don't like that. Then you look at things totally different. And
of
it's
course,
like you want to take care. You want people to appreciate it, because I don't want I always say I don't want people to be like where I'm at. Like I don't want you to be on the out because it's hard. It's a rough, terrible thing. I don't want you to be on the outside looking in because it's so frustrating to see people not appreciate the game and not play the game the right way and not respect the game. And that's where I was watching them that last. Excuse me, that last game.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what actually when I was texting you earlier, we were talking about what I wanted to do today was really what are your three main takeaways, good, bad, doesn't matter, from this season. Because if we reflect, what I should have done is actually listen to like our pod before the season started to see. I might have to go back and do that actually.
You don't want to live those days.
Why, we were happier. We were in this.
Whoa! Who said I'm good? I'm good.
Well, there were so many. We still had expectations, and whatever we want to say about this year, whether or not we didn't have any expectations, and we knew it was going to be a throwaway year and all that shit. Whatever. The truth is, our hope as Browns fans is an effervescent thing. It's constant, and we have no expectations. That's BS. We had expectations, no matter whatever those varied from person to person. But a lot of it was not that we were going to be 7-10.
Who said that we was going to be? Who said we didn't have expectations?
I'm saying that when the season started with Deshaun, I'm sure a lot of people thought. I'll be honest. I don't think I really had any. I don't remember when the season started. What I do remember when the season started was thinking, well, Deshaun's going to be out for 11 games, so like this season is pretty much going to be a waste, right?
That's where a lot of people was at, and
so the expectation was no expectations, right? But
a lot of people. So my expectations went from when he had the original 3 games. I was like, oh yeah, they good. Obviously they'll be fine. But when it went to 11 and they decided to ride with Jacoby, everybody was like, I think it's probably 8, 9 at best. That's what I said. I said with Jacoby Brissett as the starter, you might get 6 or 7 games won at best. I actually did say that. Dang, I'm a prophet.
Oh God.
Wow.
You love doing this. You love looking back and confirming your. How do you know that? How do you know that you said that?
Oh, I know because I remember saying, because I was in an argument and I remember saying it like, oh, with Jacoby, if you don't get Jimmy G, you're going to win 6 to 7 games with Jacoby. He can win you 6 to 7 games at best. I emphatically said it. Oh, and the sick thing is, he didn't even win that many games. But you know what? It wasn't his fault. It really wasn't his fault.
He did. Look, he did. As the season went on, after the first blunder of a game, though we won it, as the season went on, he was pulling his weight. And I think, again, so anytime, and we're not different from any other franchise or fan group that feels when their team starts to win that they get a little bit of hope. That's a natural thing. And so we did. And it felt like crushing when we would get to this. We'd have this great game like against the Bengals on Monday Night Football and then crash and burn, right after that, after 2 weeks off. And it's just, that's the frustrating part. So what I wanted to do was really sum up, at least for this episode, our 3 major takeaways. So Tyvis, ladies first.
Yes, please. The floor is yours, Holly.
Thank you. Good, sir. Appreciate it. Okay. My number one one of my takeaways is lack of accountability. Do you know?
Elaborate on that one.
I will. Lack of accountability. Accountability is the obligation or willingness to accept responsibility for one's actions. Okay. I just want to let you know that I looked that up to make sure I knew it from word to word.
Look at you overachiever, you Einstein.
Holly Webster, right here. That's right. It's accepting responsibility for one's actions. No one really did from top to bottom. And don't tell me that Stefanski got up there every week and did, because it's bullshit. Anyways.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Whoa, let me stop. Pause. Let me interject.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big word for me. Interject. Joe Woods took accountability in his last press conference. Did you know that?
That's great. I'm talking about the whole season.
I'm just saying he took accountability. He said,
"Well, what else?
You know who else took it? You know
who cares? I
Wait
don't
a minute.
care that he did in the last. Like I don't.
Wait,
I don't care.
wait a minute. It's one more person that took accountability. Miles took accountability. He did. When after the car accident, he said because it was the game. What game was it? He had the big game where he had the two. It might have been Tampa Bay, where he got up and he said that, I got to keep going. I know that I'm hurt and I know that I did some dumb stuff, but I got to keep going for my teammates, and I got to keep going because I'm dedicating this season to my grandfather, his papa. That's shout
Yeah,
out.
I remember you were like, if this is what you're doing for your grandpa, then
That's
there's a question.
what I'm saying is he acknowledged that he did something dumb with the car, so that's accountability. Just saying.
But he's done dumb things before that with the car. So with cars, so he's clearly not learned any lesson.
But I'm just saying he owned up to it. Is what I'm saying.
Making mistakes is one thing, right? Making the same mistake after you know what happens after the first one is what the problem is.
It's insanity is what that's called.
Well, yeah, but a lot of people then there's the margin for forgiveness and understanding gets smaller and smaller when you keep making the same mistake. So my point with all of this is that the accountability from top to bottom, and it's accepting that, but it's also accepting the fact that when someone else didn't perform, if you're a good teammate, that's also on you, right? There's a whole line of that when it comes to being on a team. I mean, are you dancing in the back? Are you not listening to me?
Yeah, I'm listening.
All right.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
You were distracting me over there. Dancing.
It was a jump on it moment.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of where I wanted to go, because when you don't take responsibility, and because the Browns as a whole didn't throughout the season, it's because a lot of it nobody really ever had to. And what seemed like was a tight ship ran with Stefanski, for instance, in 2020, right? Started to be doubtful in 2021 with Baker and that whole thing with OBJ and all of that. And then when Baker was out, here come the 2022 Browns, the whole Deshaun thing. Nothing ever really we talked about throughout the whole season when I said there was no consequences for anything. So there has to be a major amount of accountability taken when you have seasons like this, when they derail like this. And I know we weren't thinking that it was going to be Super Bowl or bust, but we did have hopes that the culture without Baker specifically was going to change all of that. So accountability. That's my number.
So who did you want to take accountability?
I don't care. You know who I want? I take that back. Stefanski.
You want to hear? So what would you have liked him to say?
I don't need to necessarily. I think a lot of actions speak louder than words, right? I think there could have been a lot of things that he could have done that he didn't need to tell us, because he doesn't tell us anything anyways. But taking action on a lot of different things. I just feel like, I mean, on plays alone in the game, like not making any adjustments, right? Like when we were screwing up the first half, something like that. It's just, he is the leader of this ship, so it ultimately does fall on him. So
I respect that.
All right, number one, go ahead.
Number one for me, one takeaway that I took away from this season is that there is no, what's the word I'm looking for? There's no energy, culture, leadership, none of that on defense. And you know, when it been hit me, because I've been talking about it for a long time. It really hit me in that Atlanta game. You remember, I was fired up after the Atlanta game. That was the first time that I said, and I said it in my rant. I said, if y'all gonna lose, if y'all gonna lay down like this, then y'all ain't gonna win another game. Like, y'all gonna pack the season up. And it was sad, because it was like, that was it, because you just don't put that type of stuff on tape. So when that happened, it just, like, I never understood. I mean, I've lost like leaders on the defense before, but I've never seen like people just fold their cards. Like it completely was totally different. Like that was sad to see how they would lose, and I just didn't see like the fight. Like as a defensive player, like that's you thrive for that. Like you live for that, and I didn't see it. And I listened to John Johnson's
Oh, I was going to bring that up. Keep
his
going. Mm-hmm.
what is it?
Yeah.
Postseason exit interviews, what they call it, correct terms.
Yep.
His exit interview, and they were just asking him about what did he want out of his next coach, and he came. He threw Joe right up under the bus, and I was just like, if that was the case, y'all, why didn't nobody vocalize that? And if that was the case, why was Stefanski let that go on? So it's like it was kind of like it's equivalent to me how Baker played last year with a hurt shoulder, knowing he couldn't do the things that he wanted to do. If a defense, like the leaders of the defense, come and tell you like this guy we can't play for this guy, he can't get us motivated and stuff like that, and you continue to let him stay there, that you handicapped yourself for this whole season. So it's sad. It was just
well,
they got what they got going on over in Cleveland. It's sad. Like I don't know what it's really. It's like I be sitting there reading the stuff sometimes. It's like, is y'all serious? Like it's this grown man. Like, dude, go tell him. Like,
well, this leads great into my next one, by the way, because it goes back to Stefanski.
Good, because that's where I'm going with my number 2. But go ahead.
Okay. My number 2 is Stefanski has to give up play calling and be the head coach. Now let me talk this through. Okay.
Now this is funny because I'm actually going the opposite way. Go ahead though.
Oh.
This might turn into something. Go.
That's fine. And that's fine.
While I drink my Perrier.
Here's what I think about Stefanski and play calling. Okay. I know you're very fancy with the Perrier. You drink sparkling water, you weirdo. Okay. Which is actually, that's what whatever. To me, Stefanski and play calling, Stefanski views play calling like a stuffed animal when you're a kid. Okay. It's, you keep it with you. You sleep with it. You feel safe. It's comforting. It's familiar. And then you get older, right? And you got to give that teddy bear up, Tyvis. You can't sleep with it forever. And what I feel like, in my opinion, while I want him to give up head coach or give up play calling to be a head coach,
that's really what you want to say. You want to give up the head coach?
I not yet, at least, but I'm on that down that way. But I'm almost feel like, is he afraid does he just not want to give it up? Is it like his safe space? Is he afraid that like it's going to expose him more if he's not doing that? Like, I feel like when people don't want to move up or do something they're not comfortable, they stick with, you stick with what you know. That's what you're comfortable with. That's why you have a safe space. That's why people like patterns and routines, because they know. And when you get thrown out of that, and as I've thought about this, like, why doesn't he not want to give it up? Because there could be many cases of why. One is this. I feel like while he was not obviously a terrible play caller and was able to keep the offense afloat for 11 games, which is really not where we thought we'd be when Jacoby was done. There are just a lot of other bigger issues that you just named when you were talking, more intricate, way more important. And 2023, we cannot screw this up. This is it. Like, this is it for him. And he knows that. We put all our eggs in one basket, and there's zero room for error. So because of this, that is where I believe his focus should be. I'm being the head coach, keeping the players in line, establishing ground rules, consequences, accountability, over communicating, all those things that make you a good leader for a good team. You're only as good as the people that are below you or working for you or your team. Like, I take it personal, Tyvis, if someone that's working for me, that's a representative of me, right? And I'm going to say, what am I doing that's not producing this person to be the best that they can be, because I want them to be the best they can be. I want someone that when they look at them, they look at me as their boss or their leader or their manager or whatever, and say like, well, they have a great teacher and this is why they are good at their job. Like, and I will say one thing that I love about Stefanski, I shouldn't say I love, that I do like about Stefanski, but I hate more, is that his lack of emotion, a big emotion either way. We've said that all season. I want to see him angry. I do want to see him get mad. I want to see him show passion. But one good thing is that he is strong and even keel, and he doesn't act out. But with all of that being said, you would think that's what would translate down and what he would want that culture to be. And it's not. So I just feel like if he's the head coach, he's a decision maker, he's the CEO, to do with that, you have to be able to take a step back, and he has to fix this defense. This is a big deal. Like he that's where his focus should be. I think he's got to give it up this season, and he's got to give up the teddy bear. So we got to do.
I respect all of that, and I'm going exactly the opposite way. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna give you an example. What sport do you like? Like, what was your best sport growing up playing?
I was a cheerleader, Tyvis.
Okay, surely. All
I
right.
played softball for a little bit. It was terrible, but I played softball.
Did you do like
I love
stunts?
basketball though.
Did you do stunts when you did cheerleading? Like you did flips and stuff?
No.
Dang. All right, listen. The point of
what? Just tell me what you're. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Don't use me as an athlete example.
I'm gonna use myself as an example because I am a great athlete. I could have been. I taught Steph Curry what he knows, but that's neither here nor there. If my life was on the line and they said you had Tyvis, either you or I don't know, let's say Richard Sherman, you or Richard Sherman had to check Justin Jefferson for your life. If Justin Jefferson catches this ball, you die. If he doesn't, you live. Do you think that I would rather myself or Richard Sherman check Justin Jefferson?
Obviously you.
Right. So with that being said, Kevin Stefanski, this is his last year as a head coach. If it doesn't work out, he's gone. Yep. Do you think that he gonna give up the play calling and give it to somebody else to call some plays? Or you think he gonna go out? If I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out because I went out wrong. That's what I would do. But that's just me. And I think he's probably a little bit similar to me. Now, when it comes to the defensive side of the ball, I mean, he got to get a great mentor and a great personality. Kevin Stefanski comes off to me as a guy. He's like Kyle Shanahan. Like listen, that defense is you. I'm not interjecting. Do what you got to do to get them ready. I'm going to be over here with the offense. You do your thing. And that's fine. You just got to get the right guy in there, a guy who's a great leader. That's a great motivator. That's a great mentor. You got to get somebody that can get guys to play for him. That's where he needs to find his niche at. That's why you got to get a guy like a Brian Flores, a guy that people highly respect, a guy that's not afraid to call people out on defense. That's what you need. You need somebody that's going to change the culture. That's going to like Greg Williams, for example. When Greg Williams was in there, he changed that culture. He had me thinking I didn't care if it was the Big Show trying to say something to me. If it was Mike Tyson coming up to say something crazy to me, I'm taking Mike out. Like, that's the mentality he instilled in me. So that's the type of coach that he needs to have in there. So I'm going the absolute opposite way. I'm not going to say he needs to give up play calling. What I think he does need to do is he needs to find the right person for that defense for sure. That's a fact. And yes. But where I was going with Kevin Stefanski, why his name brought up and why he's 2 on my list, is that he has to come up with a way to get this offense working correctly. Because before Deshaun Watson, when it was Jacoby Brissett, they were clicking on all cylinders. The run game was great. Jacoby Brissett had Amari Cooper and DPJ looking great. Njoku was catching the ball with one hand. They were great. Deshaun Watson gets inserted in there. He's supposed to be better, and the offense goes backwards. And you don't have that same, like, yeah, he had the 700 days. You don't have that anymore. Like, that's over with. Coming into next season,
absolutely.
it's over with. So you have the Fantasy got about 6 games, I'd say, 6 solid games to have this offense looking like legit, because I'm sure they're going to address something in the draft. I'm sure they're going to make some type of move in the offseason to get somebody on that receiver spot. I'm sure they're going to handle those things. This offense can't put up, what was they averaging? 14 point, not 10 points, something like that. That ain't gonna fly.
I'll give it to you. It was 16 points a game when Watson started, and he had a career low 58% of his passes, 7 touchdowns versus 5 interceptions. The offense scored only 8 TDs with him on the field in 24 quarters.
Yeah, they're not doing that. That's not going to happen. So to me, my takeaway is he has the biggest challenge this offseason. How in the world? Because he's the only one that has to deal with this. You can't name me a quarterback that's allegedly top 5, top 6, whatever the heck you want to call him, that has a top 5, top 1, top 2 running back in the NFL that he has to also deal with. So how does he find the balance that's needed for this team to succeed? And I think he's a great offensive mind. I think he's the only offensive mind that can figure this thing out. So I wouldn't give up play calling, because he's the one that has to figure this thing out. That's half the reason they hired you, is because you're a great play caller. So you got to find a way to make it work.
I understandable. And, you said it yourself with the defense, like, you want to hire a guy that you could just do what you got. You get those guys in line, the whole thing,
do
right?
Your thing.
But as a head coach, you can't just say, do your thing, and that's not a head coach. You can't do that.
Kyle Shanahan did it. He went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
And did it happen did it happen just in the one season?
No, they were there for about 2 years to 3 years. I got there in 2017. So 2017 we were terrible. 2018 we were terrible. 2019 they went to the Super Bowl. Right.
So he didn't wash his hands the first time the guy came in, right? Like, I think that's my rebuttal to it. Like, if you want to be able to, I love being able to hand something off to someone that I work with, that I know and trust, and they'll get it done. That's the best feeling. But you're not going to do that right away. Like, that's just
he did. Yes, he did. You talking about Kyle Shanahan giving up the defense? Yes, he did.
No, I know. I'm not going hands off.
Yeah, he didn't have no input. Wait a minute. How many times do you think Kyle Shanahan came down there and talked to the defense during the game? Let me know. I mean, I'm curious. How many times when I was there do you think I seen Kyle Shanahan come address the defense?
Well, maybe you should have. You guys were terrible.
OHIO.
And that's that.
0.
All right. We'll move to the third one. You set me up nice for the Deshaun, but we're going to take a quick break. But before we do, I got to talk about how it's January 12th as of today. Betting is finally live officially in Ohio, and the best way to make your bets is through DraftKings Sportsbook. Since we're officially live, you can now legally bet, of course, on all of your favorite sports anytime, anywhere in the state of Ohio with the code P3Browns. And when you do, new customers will receive $200 in bonus bets instantly. So if you're looking to bet this weekend, wild card games, I know I'm going to probably put my first bet down. I'm going to have to talk to my dad about it because I don't know what I'm doing, but I know that I'm going to go on DraftKings and make sure that I use the best sports app to make that choice. So download DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers can use the promo code P3Browns to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place a $5 bet on anything. This is only at DraftKings with the code P3Browns. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER, 21 and over, physically present in Ohio. Valid one offer per first-time depositors who have not redeemed already $200 in free bets via pre-launch offer. Minimum $5 deposit and wager. $200 issued as bonus bets. Eligibility restrictions apply. See dkng.com/OH for terms.
Hey everybody, it's Sam Amico from Cavs on the Break NBA podcast. Be sure to give us a listen for all your Cleveland Cavaliers recaps, analysis, breakdowns, draft talk, free agency. The list goes on and on. Give us a listen, Cavs on the Break NBA podcast.
Looking for new insights on the Cleveland sports scene with a unique side of Cleveland sports history? Then you found the perfect podcast. I'm John Sable.
And I'm Scott Sable, and we're hosts of the Sable Brothers on the Baseline podcast, a podcast about Cleveland sports, but not your typical podcast about the land's sports teams. Join us as we embark on a journey of sharing a unique and historical side of Cleveland sports history with the help of some former Cleveland sports stars and other historical figures.
All right here on the Sable Brothers on the Baseline podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
All right, guys, we're back. And we're going to hit our third major takeaway. So my third, which Tyvis again set me up nicely with the assist. With the assist.
You know, they call me John Don Stockton. I'm actually like a Magic. I'll be like, hee hee.
It fits very well, actually. So my third and final is that Deshaun has a long way to go. I think, you know, one of the themes of next year is that we're just automatically going to be better because of a full year of Deshaun, full year of real off season, real preseason, real spring training, Jesus. Real training camp, all of those things. And that we're just automatically going to be better. And I think, sure, we can safe to say that we hope that, right? But I think after these 6 games, you know, what I read to you earlier, averaging 16 points a game when he started, 58% of his passes completed, 7 touchdowns versus 5 interceptions. And I know that we've said now, right, like the 6 games are done and we're like, well, you know, we didn't expect him to be this or that, but like deep down, of course, there was certainly conversations, certain thoughts that if he came in here and won 5 of the 6 games or what have you, this is our elite QB. Here he is. And I think after seeing him in these 6 games, he's got a long way to go. And I'm certainly hopeful and positive about him coming in and doing the job that we're paying him a crap ton of money to do. But I think he is way more behind the 8 ball than we thought he was going to be coming in.
I don't disagree with none of that, actually. I actually agree with a lot of it. I agree with a lot. First of all, I haven't disagreed with anything that you said.
Yeah, you did. You disagreed with the Stefanski giving up.
No. I said I hear you and I respect you, but I'm going the opposite way.
Oh,
I never said I disagreed. I told you there's no right or wrong answer in life. It's all opinionated.
That's right.
Okay.
Don't hate us, everybody, when we give our own opinions. It's just opinions.
Yeah,
really, Tyvis, I know you love mine, but
okay, let me ask you this before I give you number 3. The reason that this season it went the way it was, is it because of Kevin Stefanski or is it because of the defense?
The defense.
Yes.
Yeah, I've always said that was definitely number 1. But you never gave Stefanski any. No, we're not
Holly,
doing this.
We went into
we sure did. Because you wouldn't give Stefanski any of the blame. That was my problem with it. And I would give you. He was accountable. He needed to be accountable with what happened.
Averaging 24 points a game.
As a head coach, that's what happens. It ends up falling on you whether it's your offense or defense or special teams or your assistant coaches or whatever is not performing. You're the head coach. That's the whole point of being a head coach. You are taking accountable and responsibility for all of that.
I did. And you know what he said before every loss?
It's on me. It's on me.
All right, listen, I'm done with you.
All right,
listen,
give me your third.
Number 3 is this, and this is very serious, and it's about to hit you like boom.
I'm ready.
Somebody got to take a backseat. It's either going to be Deshaun or Nick. It can't be both. And I hate to say it. I wish it was some other way around it. But I don't think those two will coexist together. And it's sad to say that. And the reason I say that is because you look at the 6 games, it tells you everything you need to know. How many Nick Chubb had 100-yard game rushing with Deshaun as a quarterback? So to me, obviously money has a lot to do with it. You know, it's this offense is going to be tailored more towards the moneymaker, which is Deshaun. And you know, the rumors are that they're going to this air raid thing, and I understand. Listen, I understand the logic behind it, but you got to do what works for your team. And at some point, it just seemed like that was lost. And that was one of the takeaways. Like it was
100% from game one.
It was lost. Even coming into this season,
with Baker. I mean,
everybody knew. Like you just knew that we was going to run. And everybody, I get these stats that, you know, Nick Chubb has the 4th most carries and whatever, only behind quarterbacks. And I get that. But you should have died with that. Like we're going to run the ball. Like you had 2 guys. You had a dude you had a backup running back who, before the season, people would argue was like your second best skill player.
Yeah.
Like offensively, they was like, who's better, Amari Cooper or Kareem? And everybody was like, with Jacoby Brissett, I'm gonna say Kareem Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
The man was invisible the whole season. I don't even think he touched the paint this year, which is that's crazy. Like if you would have told me that before the season, I'd have been like, you're absolutely insane. So we're going to this quote unquote air raid thing. And I feel bad for Nick Chubb because I don't think he'll get there. This was his one shot as a Cleveland Brown to me to get the rushing title. Because moving forward, they're going to want to throw the ball more, which means his opportunities now are cut in half. And if he didn't get it this year, he'll never get it. So,
well, maybe the play caller should have called some more running plays, right?
I agree with that. But the thing was this: the season was lost. Your chances of making the playoffs was 1 or 2%. So let's just go ahead and get Deshaun ready for next year. And it's sad that to me, it seemed like they transitioned to next year way earlier than they should have. Like you got to lose the stubbornness at some point. You got to, and that's where Stefanski's at fault, because it's, to me, he wants to be, instead of doing what you suppose, what like using your best players, you want to be like this quarterback whisperer. You want to be, oh, look at my flying offense, and it's like, dude, just do what it takes to win the game. And and the biggest example happened against you when Atlanta said, yeah, you know what, we had a game plan, but he took that play sheet, threw it to the side to heck with that game plan. We're gonna run this ball until they can stop it, and they beat you. So why can't you adapt that same mentality? Like what? Like, dude, if Nick Chubb is getting 6-7 yards a pop, we gonna run this ball. I am kind of a math expert, so I'm not going to say I'm no math expert, but 6 plus 2 is 12, and that's a first down every time. So I was just shocked. Somebody, he's to swallow his pride, but yeah, somebody's got to. It's either going to be Deshaun's going to be the star or Nick Chubb's going to be the star. And I don't think it's not going to be both.
Right. And it's going to be Deshaun. I mean, they're going to try as hard as hell to make it him. Right. There's 230 million reasons why it should be him. But, you know, going back to, I'm glad that you actually finally gave Stefanski that you said that he's responsible for some of this. And that's why
98% of it is defensive.
Oh, that's a real high percentage.
98%. Because they were winning a lot of these games. As bad as
you're comparing Stefanski's 2%, like that's like the Browns making the playoffs playing chances 2%. That's how much you're giving Stefanski?
Yep.
Come on.
Because if they had a middle of the pack defense, we'd be talking about them in the playoffs today.
Well,
even with everything that's went on, if they had a middle of the pack defense, we'd at least be 5 wins better than what we are.
Okay. And I'm not gonna fight with you on that. However, going back to the John Johnson quote, he said, this was his quote, by the way. He said there were way too many discipline issues on defense. You want to focus on winning, focus on football. He said it's hard to do that when you got to deal with all that, when you got all that small stuff. It's a job, it's a profession. You got to come ready every single day. We got other stuff to focus on, got to put it in the past. I think maybe a new position might open up a new spark for us to get together. Sure. Right. He said, I feel like if we were all doing what we were supposed to do, if we all had the same goal in mind, if we all had a sense of urgency, certain stuff like that doesn't happen. What's the saying? Where there's smoke, there's fire. So obviously there was something underlying that wasn't addressed and it boiled over. And that ends up why I think Stefanski's role next year, he needs to put on his big boy pants and he's got to run the team.
He's talking about that Jadeveon stuff right there.
The end was, but not the first part.
No, when he was saying that, there's too many other stuff going on defense.
That was the critical of younger players not being committed to their jobs.
Oh, what I say? He said that mid-season. We do that mid-season. And okay, so as a leader, what are you doing to help that? Are you all right? So it's easy to say DeAnthony Bell is the 4th string safety. Is he gonna play in this game? Probably not. He's gonna be on special teams. Unless 2 of us go down, he probably ain't getting in the game. So DeAnthony Bell, as a young guy, does he know the playbook? Yeah. Could he go in the game? Yeah, but is he confident about it? Probably not. So as an older vet and a guy who wants these young guys to be prepared, did you ever say, hey man, let's watch some tape together?
Right.
Did you ever say, hey, let's stay after practice and go over a couple of things?
I know. It's not just a one-man thing. I understand.
That's what I'm saying. It go hand, and that's why I say leadership is the thing. Like you can call people out on it all you want, but what are you doing to help try to fix that problem? That's my only issue with the J3 quotes. It's like, dude, yeah, you called him out. That's fine. He's gonna get some traction, he's gonna get some buzz, they're gonna feel some type of way. But did you ever say to yourself, hey man, let me try to help this guy. I see the potential in this guy. This guy actually could be great. That's what happened. That's what happened with me. They looked at me. Sherm said, you know what? I see something in this guy. Let me work with you after practice a couple of times. Let me watch some tape with you. That's what happened with me. And I don't understand why, well, obviously everybody everybody thinks differently. And I get that, yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do to be prepared for this game. You don't want, as a grown man and as a professional, you would think it's not my job to get them ready. If you're a professional, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to know what you got. But everybody needs help. Everybody learns differently. And that's one of the things that when you mature and you get a little bit older, you realize everybody don't think like you. And that's why I say it ain't the right or wrong way of thinking about things either. Because everybody wasn't raised like you. Everybody don't think like you. Everybody don't operate like you. So just because it looked weird to you doesn't mean it's the wrong thing to do. And that's where, to me, they need to step up at. That's why you need some vets in there. And John Johnson is a vet, but you need some vets in there that's about action, that's going to take action. Instead of trying to make the coach do it, you go do it.
Right. Well, and I agree. I don't think there's one. I don't think that's going to be the end all be all and to fix the entire thing if that's what Stefanski ended up doing and giving it up. Right. I know that there are a myriad of things that need to happen for everyone needs to step up to make that happen. My point with him is that as the head coach, as the leader, he can make sure that guys like John Johnson, other vets are making those types of offers and wanting to mentor and want to help these guys out that are coming up in the league. Because they want to be better for not only themselves and the team, but their coach and everyone. I think that when that mentality changes and you have that idea of I want to do well because I respect him, I respect my peers, all of those things, that of course, when that mindset changes and it switches to that, then yeah, a lot of that other stuff comes naturally. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting offseason like it always is, but that's a wrap on 2022. So
good riddance.
Good riddance. You freaking said it, man.
In
so many ways. Ugh.
Are you going to be a Cincinnati fan for the playoffs?
Yeah, I love me some Joey B. I can't help it.
Yeah, you know what? Do you know what my preseason Super Bowl pick was? Can I even tell you who I had going to the Super Bowl?
No. For this season?
For this season. It's very much alive. Now, one side of it kind of scares me because they had a significant injury to a significant player. So it kind of washed it a little bit. But I had Buffalo going against San Francisco in the Super Bowl.
Really?
But Von Miller went down, and that kind of scared me.
Huh. That's a good pick. I didn't know that. I don't know if we should do that next season. We should do a Super Bowl matchup.
If I had Batten been I wouldn't have been able to do it. I was gonna say, had Batten been legal, I would have did it, but that can't do it. Yeah,
well, now you can bet on the Cavs.
I don't get on their team. You see them. You see the way they fouling. They fouling on 3-point shots at the end of the games and just blowing games. Why would
I don't know. I'd definitely bet on Donovan Mitchell just in general.
No, you need to be on Evan Mobley. That's who you need to be on. That kid need to step it up. Yeah. This time.
Yep, it is. All right. Well, that does it for us for this week on the Orange is Oranger. Sayonara 2022 football season. And we're ready for the off season of 2023 because there's going to be a lot of action. More action than my life. So
you think so?
Oh yeah. I can feel it in my bones.
You think there's some more firings coming?
Oh yeah. It's coming. It's coming.
Long as it ain't me.
Right, I know. Same. All right, that's it for us. Like, subscribe, all of the things. Go place your bets on DraftKings, and Tyvis, take us out.
You know, it hurts me. It hurts me because even after
last 2022.
Go Browns, man. You know, this is we listen. This
go
is
Browns, man.
The thing about the Browns right now is that they're not even at rock bottom. They actually the ball hit the ground and they on their way back up. You know, they just got to figure some things out, clean some things up, get the right personnel in there. They be all right, man. They be all right.
You heard it, Browns. Just do that.
It's not that hard. The little thing.